UN facilities and bases in and around Goma are overwhelmed by both UN personnel and Congolese seeking shelter, straining water and food supplies in addition to sanitation services. Perre explaining that a unilateral humanitarian ceasefire announced by the M23 group this week was not holding.
The situation in South Kivu is also particularly concerning, with heavy fighting reported along the main route between Kinyezire and Nyabibwe. In Bukavu, tensions are rising as the M23 moves closer, just 50 kilometers north of the city. Just as a way of background, and as requested by the Security Council, MONUSCO no longer has a presence in South Kivu. While the 4 February unilateral ceasefire announced by the M23 offers assurances that Bukavu will not be taken, we are gravely concerned for Kavumu Airport, which is critical for ongoing civilian and humanitarian use around South Kivu. Losing both the Goma and the Kavumu airports in the midst of an ongoing humanitarian and IDP crisis will be untenable for the populations of both North and South Kivu.
She told journalists that the situation in eastern Congo was no longer limited to North Kivu and posed a clear threat to the stability of the entire country and the region as a whole. MONUSCO's posture in relation to the FARDC, which is the DRC army, and its Security Council mandated support to SAMIDRC had also somewhat shifted.
You asked were still operations ongoing? The answer is no. This area is firmly under control at the moment of M23. There are some skirmishes around Goma town, but they are not done in an organized way. So what MONUSCO has been doing to support SAMIDRC is, at their request, we're trying to help them repatriate some of the bodies of their fallen soldiers, which you may have knowledge about. We are helping them with any logistics that they need, and we also work with them very closely on their own safety and security.
Perre says their protection of civilians mandate is limited to protecting civilians sheltering in their bases. And while they are allowed to resupply their camps in and around Goma, patrols are no longer allowed by the rebels. While stoppages by the Trump administration of US aid operations is also impacting humanitarian efforts in eastern Congo, including the work of the International Organization for Migration, among others.
We're not doing patrols necessarily. Those are not allowed. Any movement we have to announce 48 hours in advance. So we are not able to achieve our POC, our protection of civilians mandate, outside of our bases right now. We are, as I mentioned, doing them inside our bases with 2,000 people inside, but outside we are unable to do so at this moment. I also have to point out that the partners, the humanitarian partners, are also suffering from the stop work order due to the US aid funding from the side of the USA is hampering their operations, or will be hampering their operations.
Have you seen them? Pressed by SABC News on the presence of Rwanda Defense Force troops in eastern Congo, after President Paul Kagame told CNN he didn't know if the RDF was in fact in the DRC.
They are. I can't give you numbers or locations or anything because, as I said, our movement is restricted, so we cannot go out and verify these things firsthand, but when we move around, yes, they are here. So, yeah, that's all I can say about that.
Also welcomed the upcoming joint summit between SADC and the East African community this weekend, calling it an important opportunity to chart a way forward that does not involve a military solution. Sherwin Ricebees, SABC News, New York.